I'm Isadora Oboto, and I'm going to tell you an escort story that you never thought you'd hear. When I was at Juilliard, when I was going in, they called me and I'm like, I got into Juilliard. And she's like,
oh, so you're set on the acting, huh?
I was like, yes, I got into Juilliard. It's like the best school. And my mom was like,
I see. Have you thought about how you're going to pay for it? Because your father and we have 2 other children.
And I thought, I'm going to the best acting school in the universe. Well, in America, in New York. And I thought they were going to teach me to be an even better actor. And of course, we were hoping for this career that shot you to the stars. And actually what happened was they were training you to be stage actors. They took you as you were, and then they broke you down. They would take your accent, whatever it was. I came in with a really heavy Chicago accent. You guys gonna park the car. It was with the first year getting taken apart, and the second year kind of too. But then they spent the third and fourth year kind of building you back up, because now they've beaten all the accents out of you. You know how to breathe, you know how to talk. Now you start Shakespeare. When I was younger, I had really big eyes and very big features. And that worked really well on stage, especially for comedy. But once you transfer that over to film, you have to take it way down. So I wasn't really prepared in terms of what I was going to have to do to prepare suddenly to become a different kind of actor in front of a camera. When you graduated, you were going to have these presentations in front of all the casting directors and agents pretty much in the country. And hopefully you would have an agent when you stepped out the door. And that was what we were hoping for. We rehearsed for, I think it was over a month. And during our rehearsals, we had this young reporter from the Rolling Stone magazine covering what it was like to be a graduate of some of these really high-end drama schools. And his name was Aaron Sorkin. And he was writing this play called A Few Good Men. And he picked myself and my classmate Andre Brower and my other classmate Michael Loudon, both whom very sadly are not with us anymore. But at that time, he picked us 3 to sort of follow around for the article. I did my scenes and I thought they went really well. Aaron Sorkin came with me up the stairs to do the lists. And we went to the first list and I wasn't on that one. And then we went to the next list and the next list and the next list. And I was like, everything I fought for 14 years is going to be gone if I go to another list and I'm not on any. I was so broke that all these loans, I don't even know how much I took out. And I was maybe not going to be able to pay my rent after I graduated. I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. I went downstairs to get my stuff from my dressing room for the last time. This building that I'd lived in for 4 years. This dressing room that had been my home. I just didn't know that an acting career can be a really long lifetime. That you don't necessarily have to walk out and, be the one that shoots to stardom. My mom, who I love, she would say things like,
oh, well, I guess you didn't make it, huh? Yeah, well, some people have it. They say that, you gotta have it. And if you don't have it, then you're not gonna make it.
And that was in my head. I went home that night, so I just laid in the bed and went numb. Nobody really called me because I think we didn't reach out to each other. But I did get a phone call, and that phone call was from Aaron Sorkin. And he said, to me, the dramatic highlight of the presentations was your scene. I talked to my editor, Bonnie, and she's going to allow me to reach out to the agents and casting directors and find out why they didn't pick you. Would you mind? So he, I think, interviewed like 5 or 6 people. And they were saying basically similar things like, she's very unusual looking, she's not commercial, I don't know how I would cast her, came up a lot. And I think he felt terrible about saying this one. She's just not fuckable. In Hollywood terms, meaning every guy who sees her on the screen has to want to fuck her. And then the money thing overtook that. So I had to kind of just go off and focus on how not to be homeless for a little bit. I do go out and get a couple jobs waitressing And I do get fired pretty rapidly. One job, I was catering and I had this big tray and there was white mousse and chocolate mousse and my boobs got in the mousse and I was fired. I had another job where they had these trays and you had to carry these drinks that were really tall. And one of them tipped over on a customer and of course, she's wearing pina colada and I'm fired. And then I tried to work as a temp. I thought it was an animal rights company and what they were doing was keeping animal sanctuaries so that people could hunt on them. And I was like, okay, no. So I'm on the floor in my apartment and this stack of overdue bills, crying. And I see this ad in the paper and it says, girls, all in caps, earn $1,000 a week. Escorts wanted, no sex involved. $1,000 a week? I guess it would be like somebody telling me, earn $10,000 a week. Now, what is this? What is this? I know! You escort men to charity balls. That's what you do. Or there might be men who go to dinner and they're not married or they don't have a date and they just want to go to a nice dinner. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So I call and this woman answers and she says, what are your measurements? And I get as far as 36C or 34C, whatever I was at the time. And then I hang up really fast because I realize, why does she need my measurements? This is not good, but oh my God, the bills are there. And I called again and I told her the rest of my measurements and she asked me to come in for an interview that day. I get to the interview. It was like an Upper East Side apartment. Person who runs it comes in at a certain point. She walks by me and she says, what is that on my sofa? And I was like, oh God, even I'm ugly here too. I do get hired on a trial basis. We had two different names, $300 an hour, and we split 50-50 with the agency. So making that all night, you could make close to $500 to $1,000 in a night. My first night, I made $1,000. And I have this ledger book of all the debts that I owed that was pages and pages long. That was like years of debt. It was so satisfying to me after a night of work to just cross off another line of debt because I was buying my way to freedom. I decided to start a theater company with a good friend from Juilliard. And I told him at one point, I think I could pay for our first production. And I told him I said, I'm doing some sexy work. We had this fun conversation about it. We met for a meeting with our team. And in the middle of that meeting, he stood up and said, I can't do this. My heart can't be in it. Theater is pure, acting is pure. And amongst us, we have someone who is not. And she is a prostitute. And he outed me in front of everybody. And a few people walked out. Out of nowhere, I started getting acting work. And I was finally on this roll and the universe is like, yes, you can be a full-time actor. And I'm like, yes, thank you, universe. When you're on the road as an actor, really your base salary is around $500 a week, minus taxes, minus 15% for manager, 10% for agents. So pretty much you're down to $250 a week. So I was back to pretty much broke. I knew I would have to stop acting and go back to escorting for a little bit and then make enough money escorting to be an actor again. I was so afraid that if I stopped, the universe would say, well, you stopped it, that's it then. So all the way through being an escort and acting or not acting, I just kept thinking, I'm going to have a creative life. I'm not really an escort. I'm used to being on stage with somebody, even if I've never met them before, we connect immediately because that's what you have to do. You have to connect. And once you do, that's just what you cut through all the bullshit, basically. And so I just always thought this life that I'm living now is part of a story. It's going to be a story. How could it not be a story? And also it was so much more fun. There's this stereotype of prostitution, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm in this underground world all night, and it's so much fun. I'd be in the middle of this situation with a girl and a guy, and I think it would be so much fun if the audience was with me. You guys would have a blast being here. It's not as raunchy as you think. It's hilarious. I'm just an artist who's escorting.